What's going on? What's going on, team? Welcome back to another week. Welcome back to another Stock Talk. My name is Xander with Fates Trading Academy. This week, what we'll be doing is jumping on to see what is going on with the S&P 500, what's going on with the NASDAQ. We're also going to check out a couple of opportunities that we have lining up for this week that are presenting great opportunities for us to potentially take advantage of. We'll also probably touch on AMC and all the meme stocks that the situation's kind of going around with. So just to kind of keep everybody in the know, and let's jump into it. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the S&P 500, which is SPY, SPY. So taking a look at this one, we are basically in the middle of the trend that we've been holding for months now. So not too overbought, not too oversold. MACD is looking fairly good. The RSI is looking fairly good. Not too concerned with kind of where the market overall is at. However, definitely still paying attention to it with, the CPI report coming out and with the inflation numbers coming out, with the Feds, obviously, working on the interest rates. If they do raise interest rates, that's obviously going to have a bit of an impact on the market. So be aware of that. And I believe that's coming up on Thursday. So after Thursday or up until Thursday, I'd just kind of be cautious with kind of where the sizes of the positions that you're taking and what you're investing in. That being said, though, the opportunities are still opportunities. So we'll be taking a look at those. The /NQ, which is the NASDAQ, and /NQ. Taking a look at this one, we are approaching previous resistance, right? So 14,064 was the resistance that we were at. We're currently at 13,839. There's that resistance line that we were paying attention to. We are right about at that point. We're not quite over 70 on the RSI, so we're not too overbought. However, we are approaching overbought territory, so be aware of that. And /NQ, the NASDAQ, is obviously going to be correlating more so with the tech stocks. So, if you're investing in tech, just be aware that we are approaching resistance where we have gotten rejected before, right over here back on the 10th of May. And then we've kind of been just trending right next to that line throughout pretty much the end of May. And so now we just jumped a little bit higher towards that line. So just be aware we have gotten rejected there before. We got rejected. We broke out a little bit above it, but then for the most part, we did end up getting rejected. So just be aware that that's where we're at here on the NASDAQ. And once again, what I mentioned before with inflation and interest rates, just be aware that if things, do line up like they tend to line up, and they raise interest rates, and we do end up approaching that resistance and getting rejected, that we might see a bit of a pullback or a sell-off in the general market overall. So not saying that that's something that's going to happen this week, but, just be aware and be prepared. So jumping into the opportunities, let's go ahead and take a look at AMC just right off the bat and get that out of the way, because that's been the talk as of late with a lot of folks. So one thing I do want to say is we are, rallying quite significantly, obviously, as you guys know. So from where we were to 77, that's almost 687%, right? And that's just from, I believe that was what this price point was, about $10. We were at 191. So if we go to 191, we were at 191 literally in the beginning of January. So 191 to 77, we're over 3,000%. 3,000%. Just let that sink in, guys. So I'm not saying, I don't have a bias as to where this will go, but just be aware that when a stock rallies 3,000%, it usually doesn't stay at those price levels when it rallied that fast within the span of 4 or 5 months. Last time we rallied up to $20 and we got rejected, hit a highs of $30, got rejected. Now we hit 77, and it looks like we did get rejected here. We did pull back. However, one thing we are watching here is this trend line right here, this support. We did dip right below it here on Friday of last week, and then we ended up pushing right above it today on Monday. We ended up still holding above the EMA, and we are holding above this general trend support level. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying, you know, that this is going to continue rallying or this is going to drop, because the situation with AMC is very, very unpredictable. The one thing I will say is what I'm doing is I'm taking it day by day. I'm not holding too large of a size on this, and I'm not, you know, holding for too long. If I see weakness, I'll exit. If I see strength, I'll enter, and then I'll exit right away and take my profits. That's the safest way to play something like this. I know there's a lot of people that are holding it for the very, very long term. I know a lot of people are shorting it and they believe that this thing is going to plummet. The best bet is, if you're trying to take advantage of this and be as safe as possible, is take it day by day, take it hour by hour. If you're in front of your screen, take it 15 minutes by 15 minutes, 5 minutes by 5 minutes. You know, don't complicate it, right? Don't speculate, don't gamble. You know, the goal here is to protect your capital and grow it, not gamble it and hope that it's going to work out, right? No matter what, who's saying what, the market's the market, right? Nobody knows where this is going to go, especially in this situation right here with AMC. So just be aware of that. Like I said, I don't have a bias. I take this day by day. If I see strength, I'm buying. If I see weakness, I'm selling or shorting. So that's kind of how I'm going about with AMC. And that's probably what I would suggest to be the safest way to go about it. The first one that we're going to take a look at as far as opportunities go is going to be UAA. That is Under Armour. So this one caught my eye. We've been holding the support level since basically February, when we broke above, got rejected here at 23, and then we've been trending within this channel here. We broke up to 26 for a brief moment, and then we ended up pulling right back down to the support level that we've been at for this entire time. We have been holding the support not once, but multiple times. We bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here. We just keep on bouncing at that support level, which tells me that that's a strong support level. Another thing that we're looking at is the fact that RSI looks like we're starting to see a turnaround on the RSI, heading to the upside. And the MACD, we're seeing a change of color, which tends to, we've seen a consistent pattern of every time we see a flip to a change of color, we're usually seeing a bit of a rally. So I'm expecting this to at least reach, you know, the SMA level here at 2292, or this resistance level that we've been getting rejected at, which is approximately 2357. We're currently at 2212. So we have some room to run. This could obviously hit, you know, the latest highest price point we were at, which is 2645. However, the safest thing to say is, you know, make sure that you're paying attention to this resistance level, because it could very much get rejected at that level. We have seen it get rejected there before, so wouldn't be surprised to see it get rejected. We actually got rejected the last 2 times we approached it, so potentially getting rejected once again wouldn't be surprising. So 2333 is my goal here, or the target here. Like I said, MACD starting to see a change of color, heading to the upside. RSI, we got plenty of room to run before we get overbought. And that's kind of the situation with UAA, Under Armour. The next one we're going to be taking a look at is CHGG, CHGG. This one here has significantly more upside than UAA did. Let's take a look at profit potential here. From current price points to recent highs, pre-earnings, we're looking at about 22%, right? And that was a price target about $95. All-time highs, we're looking at about 34%. So we are starting to see a break above the EMA. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit for you guys to see. Starting to see a break above the EMA here. And obviously MACD is starting to change color. We're seeing a potential reversal pattern playing out here. And then we're also seeing the RSI having, you know, significant upside here before we hit overbought territories. So we did break below the support level. We did end up forming a new support level. And it's safe to say that it's approximately that same general level that we dropped to before that. Bounced at this level again. And if we break this level here at 75.57, I can see this heading up to 81, if not higher. It really just comes down to the fundamentals here that are playing out with, you know, this company as a whole. So just taking a look at the fundamentals. It's, there's an article that came out, due to potentially, the potential of students rotating out of online to, going actually on campus for schools and education and universities. There's a theory that, this is selling off, has been selling off due to that. But as far as I know, I mean, most students that use this brand, they still, or this company, they still use it even if they're going to campus. So this is more of a study, study helping brand, or study helping company that helps students study. And I know that, from my previous years in college, I know that, students still use it even if they're in school. So, I don't think that that's a good argument. That's why it's, having some weakness, even though, today it was actually a pretty strong day for this company. Let's jump into the 1 hour. Yeah, we saw a nice strong day today. So going back to the 4 hour, huge upside potential on this one. We did see a bounce. And so that's what I'm anticipating. I'm waiting for. We have plenty of room before we end up in, overbought territories. So I see upside potential on this one. The risk here, you're obviously going to be managing risk at about 72. We're at about 74 right now. So not too much risk, but, significant profit potential. So great opportunity there. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Square, SQ. SQ, we are seeing, we're somewhat in the middle of the two levels here. We have support here at 195, and we have a resistance right up here at approximately 256. I think long-term, this company is going to do very, very well. So it's just a matter of staying patient. We have been doing very, very well throughout, basically September up until this point. We've just been consistently seeing steady growth within this company. And just recently we started trading a bit of a sideways pattern, in a sideways channel. So even though, we have been trading in the sideways channel, we're not up here, we're not buying at these highs. We're still fairly low on the price, price level. So I would say, obviously there's some risk to this. However, with the reversal on the MACD, plenty of room before we hit overbought territories on the RSI. And we're obviously sitting at a very crucial volume profile level. I think that, with consistent bullish volume, if the market continues to stay bullish, overall, I see this heading up at least to, 229. And if we do break the SMA line, potentially return back up to this 254 level. Like I said, this company is going to stick around for a long time. I think it's going to do very, very well in the long run. So, obviously it'd be better if we were catching this down here at, 196, 195. However, still a fairly great opportunity here at this point too. So the next one we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Z for Zillow. This one's just been selling off for, some time now. We hit 208 back in February, and then we ended up seeing this sell-off. We broke this trend, and then we ended up trading sideways for some time, broke down to lower lows, started trading sideways here as well. Once again, similar situation. We did really, really well here on Monday. We ended up pushing from, I believe it was pushed from 107 to 113. And then, obviously taking a look at the MACD, we have plenty of room. We just started this reversal. So I think we can definitely expect to hit, at least these recent levels, or this recent resistance of 124. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. At the very least, just this previous high was at about 118, 120. So we still got plenty of room to run. And that's if this thing reverses, fairly soon. But we have plenty of room before we hit overbought territory. So, I'm not too worried about it. And then long term, once again, I think this is going to do fairly well in the longer term. So I can stay patient while this recovers to at least these previous levels pre-earnings, right? Pre-earnings, before earnings came out, we saw, 142. So grabbing this at 112, it's fairly low as far as, the type of deal that you'd be getting. Getting in at any other point would have been, you wouldn't be getting as great of a deal. So we haven't seen these levels since basically last year, November of last year. So that's, that should say something. That's not, it's not a reason to be concerned because we've seen pullback happen. But, we have been trading sideways. So, not too concerning, but this pattern and this setup looks fairly attractive. Once again, your risk here, let's go ahead and measure out the risk. If we're measuring down to the support, our risk is about 5-6%. Profit potential, if we go to recent highs that were pre-earnings, we're looking at about 20%, 21%. And if we're looking to all-time highs, we're looking at about 45%, so, risk 5% to potentially make 20 or 40%. I think that risk to reward ratio is definitely there. It's a very attractive stock, a very attractive company as well. So definitely one on my radar, one I'm watching this week. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be Home Depot, HD. This one's seen some pullback. We saw a lot of strength happening here in March and April, and then a little bit into May, and then we started seeing some pulled back to this SMA line, ended up getting rejected, blew right through it. We held it for a little bit and then started selling off a little bit more. However, we are sitting at a fairly, considerable volume profile level. And if we break below it, then, I might be a little bit more concerned. However, we are fairly oversold on the RSI. MACD starting to look like we're starting to turn around. So definitely one on my radar, definitely one I'm watching. It's kind of hard to say, that this thing is going to go one way or another just because we saw this crazy run up happen. However, if we build out our levels here, we are sitting at the support we built from here. So we are starting to form this pattern here. And if we break out of it, then it's probably going to start recovering. So in my opinion, I expect this to break out sometime this week, either to the upside or the downside. So I'd definitely add this to your watch list and put this on my radar. If we do break up to the upside, our profit potential from current price points to recent highs, we're looking at about 10%. Obviously, the risk is, fairly sizable if we start dropping. However, if you look around, building is still expensive, wood's still expensive, material is still expensive. So, obviously, people are still going to continue to build, maybe not as much, but they're still going to continue to build. They're still going to continue to spend money at Home Depot. So, I expect this, if the prices remain, I expect this to continue to go up to higher highs, potentially 345. But once again, watching this support level here at 309, so probably have my risk of about 307, 305. And then if we start seeing weakness, then we're probably going to start selling off to this next level down here, which is probably going to be around 281. That would probably be the slower target for us. Would be approximately right here, 281, 285. That would probably be where I'd be watching it to drop to if we start, breaking down to the upside, to the downside. If we start breaking up to the upside, obviously first level resistance is going to be this SMA level at 322. And then after that, we're going to be watching this 345 level to potentially, see if we get some resistance up there. Similarly, to HD, Home Depot, we're looking at lows, LOW. Very, very similar setup. If we jump between those two, take a look at HD again, and then take a look at this one at low. Very, very, very similar charts. So, I'm not going to dive too deep into it. Very, very similar setup, very, very similar charts. In essence, the exact same thing that we're looking at HD, we're looking at here at lows. Just a little bit cheaper in price, I believe, for lows. HD, yeah, a little bit cheaper in price for lows per share. However, the setup is fairly similar. And then, obviously our support level for the drop, if we break to the downside, is going to be down here at 179. And then upside, obviously 215 and this SMA level. Plenty of room to run on the RSI. MACD starting to turn around. Very attractive this week. Also, HD, watching this and HD throughout this week to see which way it breaks out and take advantage of either direction that it breaks out into. If it breaks to the downside, we'll start shorting. If it breaks up to the upside, we'll obviously take a long position. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be PTON. This one here, we ended up breaking out of this pattern that we were trading in, this channel. We ended up breaking through this support level that we ended up getting rejected at here, got rejected here, rejected here, rejected here, got rejected obviously initially. We ended up approaching it, didn't get rejected this time. We ended up breaking above it. And not only did we break through this resistance level, but we also broke through this SMA level. We ended up pushing up, came back down, found support basically on the same exact 2 points on the SMA level and just above this resistance level. So this indicates to me that there's strength in this stock, and that obviously we're starting to see a potential trend reversal. That being said, make sure to pay attention to your horizontal levels as well. Don't just pay attention to those. We have a resistance coming up right here. So even if we do break up to the upside, we're going to be looking at 124 potential resistance up there. And then obviously support, we're looking at 95 down here that we've been holding at these 2 points. So I would say we're essentially in this trading in this channel here. We are looking good on the RSI. Right up here, we have plenty of room before we hit overbought territories. So I still see potential upside on this particular stock. And we are starting to see a trend reversal here on the MACD as well. So very attractive to me, did very, very well today on Monday. We ended up pushing approximately, pushed about 8% today on PTON. So very attractive. I think this has got plenty of potential. If we go up to this previous resistance level, we're looking at another 12% on top of this 8 that we made today. And downside, obviously we have downside potential, and that's going to be 13% all the way to support. But if we're looking from current price point to that recent bounce that we saw on the SMA level, we're looking at about 6%. So 6% for 12, 13%, you know, you guys decide for yourselves if that's worth the risk for the reward. With the whole current situation and the breakout that we're starting to see here. And that's just to current resistance levels, to that recent resistance level. If we're looking back at all-time highs, we're seeing profit potential of approximately 34%. So that's pretty much the breakdown on this one. The decision as to, if that's something that you see value in, that's up to you. And if that's something that you want to take risk on to potentially make that potential profit. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be GPRO. This one here, we're starting to see a potential reversal here on the MACD. We're sitting at about 51 on the RSI, not too oversold. However, we did drop and we were very, very oversold, and we just made that recovery. I believe it was Friday. It was Monday pre-market, Friday after hours. And then we ended up bouncing right back up to basically that same price level that we were sitting at before. That being said, though, we have a support right up here at this level of 1072. And then we have a resistance right up here at 1244. So from current price points, let's go into a 1 hour chart just to be able to see a little bit better. 1 hour chart. If we're going to measure the risk to reward here, we are looking at about 3% risk for about 9, almost 10% profit potential. So 3% for 10%. Is that worth the risk? Is the risk reward ratio there? I'll let you guys decide on that. But definitely an opportunity that I'm paying attention to for sure. Not just because of the current setup, but once again, this is a company and a stock that I personally like. So I would, I see value in the company, and grabbing it at a deal like this, or picking up a few shares at a deal like this, even for the long term, might not be such a bad idea. So once again, the risk to reward on a smaller, day to week trade, definitely I would say is there for me. And I'll let you guys decide for yourselves if that's something that you're interested in and you see value in, but that's the setup here with this one. Once again, managing risk at 1076. So you're risking 3% for a potential of 10%. So that would be where you'd be placing your stop loss and managing risk. The next one that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be SHOP, Shopify. This one here saw a nice push to the upside here on Monday. We still are getting just into this trend reversal. And if we're looking at the overall, the big picture, we have plenty of room to run until we reach all-time highs, which we're looking at about 17%. Strong company. The level before that I would be watching would be, so that's going to be our all-time highs. This is going to be that recent level that I'd be watching right up here at 1288. So even though we're at 1230 right now, I'd be watching 1288. And then for support, I'd be paying attention to probably these levels right here. So essentially the SMA level, that would be your support level. It's not working with me today. So there we go. Okay, that's why it's not working. Using the wrong tool, happens. Okay, so that would be the support, which is also the SMA level. Once again, MACD, it looks like we're just jumping into this reversal. So, you know, very possible that we can blow right through this resistance level and start heading up to all-time highs or levels closer to that. But just be aware that, you know, we have that resistance there and we have the support here. So measuring the risk to reward ratio on something like this, we're going to be looking at, you know, your risk is going to be, we're looking at about 11% risk, and we're looking at about 18 to 19% profit potential. So about a 2-to-1 there. However, long-term, big picture, you know, do you see value in this company to jump into this? Do you see this to be a great deal? Would you have bought it back in February, mid-February, or, you know, early February when it was rallying? Did you believe in this company, right? So those are the questions that you should be asking yourself. And if you do, you know, if you would have bought at these price points, what's stopping you from jumping in now? Obviously, we can sell off more, but with the current setup for this particular week, I think we have, you know, strong momentum or a strong setup to really push the price a little bit higher to at least that 1285, if not higher levels. So that's going to be the ones that we're going to be looking at this week. Another one, the last one is going to be WYNN, WYNN. So this one, once again, this one has seen, you know, consistent growth over the last, you know, since September. We've just consistently been seeing this grow. With the current setup that we're looking at here, we're not quite as reversed or in that reversal stage as we are with Shopify. However, we are approaching that stage. We did, I believe, see some good volume here on Monday, and we are, you know, we've got plenty of room to run before we hit the overbought territory. So we're closer more so to the oversold area than the overbought area. So plenty of room to run. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this thing make moves back up to, you know, 135 at least, if not 143, and start pushing up to the upside. A lot of green volume today. Reversal is starting to look like it's coming into play. Plenty of room on the RSI. So the setup here, I like the consistency with this. It's not, you know, anything crazy, not too volatile, but it's just slow, consistent growth. And on this pullback, you know, this is a pullback that I find attractive. So I believe that this is a great opportunity to consider this stock if you see value in this stock. So that's it, guys. That's it for this week. If you guys do have any questions, or if you think I missed any stocks, make sure to drop them in the comments below. Tell me what you guys are watching. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We do this every single week, and we share the opportunities that we're looking at throughout the week, breaking them down as to why we believe that they are great opportunities. So make sure you're subscribed. That way you're the first to know and you're the first to see these opportunities. If you found any value in this video, make sure to smash that thumbs up button, share it with a friend, and I'll see you guys on next week's Stock Talk.